And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Good day. First of all, I appreciate being with you, the feeling in the room. It's a wonderful day.
Yeah.
I have the usual relationship question or two. First of all, I've been the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, month, really on the high-flying disc.
Yeah.
I think of something, bang, it's there. I'd like this for retirement, bang, the means, it's there.
Yes. So you're saying on some subjects you have no resistance. So you get into the receptive mode, and the movement from the vibration into the complete manifestation happens quickly in the absence of resistance.
And no effort. It's just...
So do that with everything. Next.
Thank you, yeah. And I do understand that. I'm single for a while now, and
you've got these practice statements, or these practice expectation is a really important word to say right now. Mm-hmm. You get what you expect. So relative to some things, what you expect brings an outcome that pleases you. Yes. In other subjects, what you expect brings an outcome that doesn't please you. So you have to find some way of changing your expectation. Do you think the way to change your expectation into something different than what is to continue to talk about what is?
No, and I agree, and I expect, and I feel, and I know that it's there, it's coming for the love that I want, the love I want to give.
It's so interesting for us to say to you that you have to find a way of being happy anyway.
Yeah, and I am.
Really?
Really. I would say 99% of the time.
We would say not even close.
Okay. Then I'm fooling myself. Okay.
But that's all right, because you come from, all of you do, you come from a long history of noticing what is, mm-hmm. and you just can't get there from there. You can't get to where you want to be from where you are, given the current way that you're thinking about it. You just can't get there. So you just got to think about some other things. And when you think about other things, bang, you said, bang. When you think about other things,
yeah.
Gunshots and car wrecks. No, that's not what you meant. Bang, bang, bang. But you get what you feel. And the universe never misses. The universe never reads it wrong. Mm-hmm. And so you got to find some way of softening that. And we've talked to so many people.
I've sort of been doing that by thinking of those other things, and then bang, those other things come. So
just keep doing it. Distraction from the absence of what you want will get you the presence of what you want. It's just that simple. Distraction from the absence of what you want. And the thing about a relationship is that it's sort of up close and personal. It's sort of a big player in your life experience. It's something that you find yourself thinking about regarding many things, but you just have to find a way of softening that. And it is our promise to you that as you soften the way you feel about it, because you can't get something that you are missing. You can't find something that is lost. And something can't get there that's been a long time coming. Because even in the attitude that it's a long time coming, it's a long time coming. This is a long time coming. Well, is it here yet? No, it's a long time coming. Well, is it coming soon? No, it's a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. That's the way you're feeling about it, you see. We know you understand this. You'll hear much more as we are moving forward. It really is. It's about not trying to get the cart before the horse. Mm-hmm. It's about finding the feeling. You see, we know that you believe that if you have the relationship, then you will feel like this. What we're saying to you is leave out the condition and feel like this, and then the relationship will be the evolution of that.
I've been practicing my way
most people want to do it the other way. Yeah. Give it to me and then I'll be glad. We say, no, be glad and then it will come. Mm-hmm. You say, I'll believe it when I see it. We say, no, you'll see it when you believe it. But when it's something that you have a habit of practice about, you're not going to change your habit all at once. And that's why distraction, that's why focusing on the things that are working is the key for you. It really is. And even in an environment like this, we cannot focus you into that place. You've got to focus yourself into that place because you know everything that we're going to say to you.
I do.
You do. Enough for now?
Just one more question. I have a son that has not spoken to me in a couple, 3 years. And I sort of miss the little guy. But I practice wishing him the best and feeling the best for him, feeling he's on his path, he's on his way, he's learning.
All of those things, but they feel like not enough to you, we know. So tell us, is it his choice or someone else's?
I think it's his. He feels I was never there for him. And I don't understand that, but that's what I'm told he feels.
So anyway, that's the condition that currently exists. So the question is, this is a big question. It's an important question. The answer is easy, especially given what you've been hearing us talking about. But the question is, can you hold him as your object of attention and muster good feelings? Or every time you think about him, do you just miss him?
No, I can muster good feelings.
And what do you think your practice has been?
I've been practicing.
Because you see, here's the final test in this examination of this situation. If it is true that you can hold him as your object of attention, and that in doing so, you can find alignment with Source, who knows him fully, then you're not having any loneliness, because loneliness does not occur under those conditions. If it is true that you can hold him as your object of attention and feel proud of him, feel glad for him, feel eager about what's coming, so that you're not feeling any regret, then you're truly in alignment with who you are, and the manifestation is in the process of becoming. But that isn't true yet, is it? Because you still do feel regret, and you still do feel some defensiveness, and you still do feel some missing.
It sort of comes and goes, and
Yeah.
I guess it's
Of course,
where I'm focused at the point.
it's natural that it would, but what we're saying to you is he is giving you an opportunity to find your true freedom, your true empowerment, your true no longer being held hostage by what someone else does. And that really is the subject of relationships like nothing else is the subject of relationships. Because almost every relationship that almost everyone has, they are being held hostage by something. And let's talk about it in the context of this unconditioned that we are wanting you to begin to focus on and experience the freedom from, and discover the fuller manifestation of all the things that you really want. In other words, don't misunderstand. We're not trying to talk you in to finding an unconditional place instead of the condition. We're trying to help you to understand that finding the unconditional place is the only path to the condition that you want.
Right.
That's a big distinction. You got to do that before this can happen.
I understand that.
And so
it just takes practice.
Most people are, when they think about relationships, just about any kind of relationship too, instead of finding their own personal path of least resistance to what? To alignment, which is the path to all things wanted, because you've put everything about that relationship that you want in your vortex. So when you find that place, it will come around to you. It is our promise to you that it will.
I know.
But what most people do instead is they need the condition to give them the reason to feel better, rather than showing themselves that they can feel better anyway. And in the process, it's something like, what can I do to be your path of least resistance? What can I say to make you understand? What can I say to make you understand that you were not seeing it the way I was seeing it? What can I say to make you feel better? What can I do differently? And it turns out everything you try to do, and you have tried, everything you try to do backfires. And we want to say this very bold thing. It backfires 100% of the time when you're trying to find someone else's path of least resistance instead of your own. Because it's only when you find your path of least resistance. What's another word for path of least resistance? Path of most allowance, path of most empowerment, path of most influence. In other words, you got to hook up with your power and your clarity and your influence before you influence someone else into their alignment, you see. So it's this literal. It's like saying, I see that you are unhappy with me in some way. So instead of me making sure that I'm happy anyway, instead I'm going to focus on your unhappiness with me. And now I'm focused upon your unhappiness with me. Now, in the process, even though it seemed logical to me at the time, in the process, I've completely disempowered myself. My source isn't helping me over here because my source is over there doing something entirely different. So I'm using you as my excuse to separate myself from my source, and that's why it's so important that you see me. Because you're keeping me not only from you, but from my source. Feel how screwy that is?
I do. I do.
So what you want to say, not right out loud and not to him, don't send him a letter or an email or anything. Just say to yourself, this has not been working well for either one of us. So I'm freeing both of us from this unworkable plan.
I've done that.
And I'm going to find my appreciation for you, which I can do easily. I'm going to find my pride for you, which is really easy. I'm going to forgive myself, which is not so easy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop beating up on either one of us for what isn't working. And I'm going to revel in the aspects of my life that are working. And I'm going to come back into my alignment, back into my clarity, back into my attraction power. And I'm going to join my source in the calling of you into this relationship. And depending upon how resistant you are, you'll come or you won't come, but I'll be free of my own resistance. And when you're free of your own resistance, usually they come right in because you don't even see the blockage. It's sort of like saying to someone, I'm over here and you're over there and I want you to come over here. And they look over at you, they're not that interested. And so you puff yourself up and you get as big as you can be and you say, yoo-hoo, I'm over here. See the path? I'm going to just throw these barricades on the path for you to climb over. I'm over here, but climb over all of our history and climb over it all and come over here. And they're over there thinking, you got to be kidding. I don't want to climb over any stuff, but what if you're over here in your vortex and they're over there and you say, hey, I'm over here. And instead of obstacles that you've thrown on the trail, there's just this bright, beautiful, good feeling, compelling, delicious trail. They'll come for the feeling. They don't even care that you're at the end. In other words, that's how it works.
I see that.
See.
I feel that. And,
really good.
And
yeah,
I feel like I've been practicing and it's working and I'm growing and all of this
is a very common thing. So people will come to us as you are, and they will want to seize the opportunity of visiting with someone who really does know the path to what they want. And instead of taking the easiest path, which you started to do as you were talking about the things that were working, bang, 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 they take the thing that is the most resistant in their life, and that's what they want to spend this airtime on. And then what you get back from us is completely annoying. We don't think that you want to spend any airtime on that.
I agree.
Any airtime on that.
Thank you.
Any airtime on that. Your airtime is so precious, and there is so much wonder that can be done with it. And why squander it on something that doesn't work?
Yeah.
And don't misunderstand, we're not saying the relationship's not important, and we're not saying that it doesn't have the probability of reconciliation. We're not saying any of that. We're just saying you can't get there the way you're going about it.
Thank
you
you.
know better.
I do.
All right, get out.
So seemingly in Asheville last weekend, I lost my point of clarity on Sunday, hence why I didn't get called to the hot seat, but that gave me the opportunity
You think you should be in the hot seat every time?
Yeah,
no matter who's in the room?
My point of attraction is powerful.
And expectation is everything, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and there's no competition. We're not wanting you to feel that there are other expectations that are greater, and that's why you're not called on, or you are. But there's
a perfect calling.
There also is a consensus of vibration in the room. There's what's the path of most allowance for the most, and so Yeah.
And for those of us that have been hanging around for a while, this has been a kick-ass session so far.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, I've realized in the power of my thought that I'm basking in appreciation of being the producer, the editor, the producer, the actor, and the editor of my tapestry of life.
Yeah.
And while...
And the audience too.
Indeed. And while
The receiver.
I'm tapping into this storehouse of infinite intelligence with what could be labeled clairaudient, sentient, cognizant awareness, over the last month, what has become transparent to me in my experience to date is whether I can double down on my experience and leverage two powerful aspects that I've come to understand. One is meditation, and the second is sleep. So I'm re-engineering my kind of life experience at this point in time as I'm constructing it.
You're going to like this distinction. In sleep, there is a stopping of momentum. In meditation, there is a changing of frequency.
Say that again for me, please.
In sleep, there is a stopping of momentum. Let's
Right.
say you've got a vibration going and it's not serving you. And you're awake and you're talking about it and you're thinking about it and you're in conversation with others about it, and the momentum is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So therefore the vibration is becoming more and more central to your point of attraction. But then you sleep and that momentum of that vibration stops. The momentum stops. You're no longer adding to the momentum of it. You left the vibration right where you last left it, but you're no longer, while you were asleep, adding to the momentum of it.
Right.
So then you wake up and you go into meditation. Now you are awake, therefore momentum can happen, but you are deliberately focusing in a way that allows your vibration to raise, and you are staying there long enough to allow that momentum to happen. This is an important distinction.
For the first time in my life, I actually feel I'm one step ahead of what you're telling me. This is good.
Then we're receiving from you.
What I am empowered to tap into is given the momentum of the positive thought. I've closed the door on the devil of negative thought.
For now. Well, because everything is in the moment.
Indeed.
Given the scenario that you were expressing, yes.
So if I'm gaining momentum in my thought process in terms of the positive aspects of my life experience,
Then you've gained momentum and now you're in this vibrational place. So now what's happening next? Now you're in that pure positive place, and now the momentum of receiving is beginning to happen, and interpreting and beginning to being able to say the words. And now what else is that momentum going to do? It's going to bring you into full validation, manifestation.
which it has done in my conscious experience.
Yes.
What I would like to qualify, if possible, today, I've been toying with this whole idea. If 17 seconds of pure positive thought is the equivalent of 2,000 action hours, motivated action hours, what's the qualification of being in a pure positive state in this meditative place immediately before my sleep time? So that my cadre, and I said about I'm enjoying my life experience because I see myself as the producer, the actor, and the editor. But the directorship that sits between the asking and the knowing, the directorship is leveraging this infinite storehouse of intelligence to direct then my life experience. Hence the power in my waking conscious state of being, the power that then I summon forth through clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant knowing to then follow the path.
We don't disagree with anything that you're saying, and it is logical that if you were to put your meditation before sleep so that you're raising your vibration before you sleep, and then you sleep and you're stopping any momentum, including the positive momentum, the positive that you just accomplished through meditation.
So there's a distinguishing factor. So I can't accelerate it.
That when you wake up in the morning, that you would have a higher probability of being able to focus yourself into what we could call productive point of attraction. But we just want to throw this question into the mix, because meditation accomplishes the higher vibration every time you do it. And what keeps you from maintaining that higher vibration that you frequently accomplish is the living of life that brings to you, in other words, conscious focus on the way you feel is the key that will lead you to all kinds of different things that will help you to find the path of least resistance. In other words, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be doing just what you're doing. We would be looking for anything and everything that we could think of. Esther decided, she heard us say, make more decisions in every day. So she started making as many decisions in a day as she could make. And then she began living with the law of attraction consequences of all of those decisions. So life started coming at her pretty fast because she'd set so many decisions in motion. So then she began to be aware that it was important that she focus more. So she started making more lists of what she was going to do in order to keep up with all of this momentum that she had accomplished. And then she began feeling less free and more occupied than she wanted to be. In other words, you're bored, and so you ask for more, and then you're overwhelmed, and then you ask for less. In other words, you're just always from where you are reaching for what's best from where you are. We just want to say that there isn't anything that you will ever decide that you're going to do in terms of methodology that's going to be the answer to all things. The only thing that we know of that you could decide is going to be in terms of methodology that will serve you forevermore is, I care about how I feel. I am the writer and the director and the producer and the actor and the audience of how I feel, period, end of subject. And then go about it in any way that you can. And all of these suggestions are good. Yeah.
I think I'm done.
Enough?
I think I'm done.
All right.
Thanks.
That's actually shocking.